Welcome to the channel, everyone. Today we're going to talk about our 2023 season, what we've got planned for 2024, and what our build plans are for all of our cars.
Also, if you'd like to support us, the best way to do that is by hitting the like button, subscribing, and leaving us a comment with any feedback for us.
We got it. That's nice.
That's so satisfying.
Wait, hold on. Something's missing. I need a hat. I need a hat.
You need a hat.
We're good. That's better. Cheer wine's wonderful.
So good.
So anyway,
What's up, buddy?
hi everyone. Hello. Hi. How are you? I can't hear you.
We know you're there.
We know you're there, because otherwise... Yep. So anyway, we're going to start this off with none other than the seat time staying. We can talk a little bit about it, where it's at right now, what the plans are, and I mean where it came from and why we have it in the first place. So, as I like to consider it, humble beginnings. It was cheap, super stupid cheap. It was all on a budget. It was back in 2020 when we bought it, and that was back when I was really hounding on money and trying to get stuff to work, but also still live a life a little bit, and found that car for $800, and is what we ended up spending in the long run. I mean, there was some negotiation stuff that went down, but I mean, we thought, first night we got it, we both looked it over and saw it, and we were like, oh, this is the potential, this is the ideas and stuff with it. And literally on the way home, the transmission basically blows out the bottom of the dang car.
Dude, I remember you called me on that too. You're like, hey, there's a problem.
Oh, it's so heartbroken.
There's a problem. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It's stuck in some gear. I don't know what gear it's stuck.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
But luckily, within like 1 or 2 weeks, sourced the transmission, found one that, was going to work with the car, and started ordering parts to kind of do her first little, maintenance to it, like stuff that it needed, because now it needed a transmission. Let's do some odds and ends while we're in there. Because like it had exhaust leaks and oil leaks, and, it was just old and crusty, and it needed some updates. But, so we put a new 6-puck clutch in it while we were in there. I mean, it's rock auto, $100 clutch. Like, it's cheap. We didn't resurface the flywheel or nothing. We just sent it back on, and the whole clutch was burnt up from that transmission going out and trying to get it to free up. So it was bad. But it had bad exhaust leaks and such. And it was one of those things of while we were in there, we put a cold air intake on it because we wanted to do some sort of modification while we were in there, and it was like $90 or something like that. It was super cheap. But it's just something to really get our foot in the door with the car and just start with it, start doing something with it. So in a storage unit of all things, on 4 jack stands, on our backs, we pulled the transmission out and put a clutch in, put the new trans in, we pulled the exhaust manifolds out the car, and
ripped all the interior out.
We did. We ripped all the interior
was out in that
back
shop.
seats came out, trunk, all that stuff, spare tire, all that came out.
Gosh.
It's the seat time spec at the moment is just, everything from the front seats, or everything behind the front seats is just gone.
Yeah.
And, it started out as very cheap. I mean, even after putting trans in it, putting clutch, and just doing the small little things, I mean, maybe $1,500, $1,600 in it.
Well, not only did we get a trans, we also got a spare motor as well.
We did,
that came with it for like, I think $450 or $500.
300.
$300?
Yes,
$300.
three for the trans, 3 for the motor.
Yeah.
So yeah, I couldn't beat it. It was one of those things. We were there, we didn't need the motor, and we were like, "What's up with the motor? Is it good?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's perfectly fine." And he was like, "It's $300 if you want that too." And I was like, I don't have cash with me, but I don't have enough cash with me. We'll come back and get it." And we did, and that was it's funny because I still have the motors in the garage. But no, it is very cool car to just start with, and very cheap for the budget that we had because we did not have a budget. It was dummy nothing, just scrounging whatever extra money we had in extra money on top of like extra money that we had to put away in general or pay off debt with or whatever it may be. You know, it was like bare bones money, like $5-10 a week if we could, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And just make it work. But no, that's where the Seat Time Saints started. Like, it just started as bare bones nothing. It's just be cheap and have a fun project car. You know?
And that still stays true today, I think, because the car now, as it sits currently, we have done a lot of stuff to it to get it ready for like an OSW private day or an event that they put on, like Black Friday Drift or a Learner's Day with After Dark afterwards. The car is full legal for all that.
Yeah.
It's got, I mean...
It passes tech.
Passes tech. It's pretty much leak free.
Yeah.
Kind of.
It doesn't drip.
It doesn't drip.
It doesn't drip.
Doesn't drip. It's got the extinguisher. We put all the stuff we needed for the harnesses, and we got the quick disconnect steering wheel on it with the energy steering wheel. It's
a nice bucket seat that stay planted in.
Was it a low ride Roll Max?
Yeah, it's like a wrap. Yeah.
So, but
cheap wrap that we got for like $100.
The harness bars. I mean, that car is the perfect seat time car.
Yeah, it would be. Looking back at our videos, it would probably be a little bit better of a seat time car if it had AC. Just for the fact of when it's hot out, then you can just stay in the car and keep going, rather than being like, man, I'm hot, I gotta get out, I gotta take a break, I gotta get some water. But it also lets the car cool down and stuff like that. And these cars are notorious for getting, the 3.8 liters are notorious for getting hot and doing weird things and not having a good wrap. So like in reality, kind of babying it a little bit does help.
Yeah.
So there's that aspect of it. It makes us get out of the car. It makes us pace ourselves and pace the car rather than overkill it, kind of thing. So, and it helps with airflow and all that.
Exactly.
So it makes sense. But
I think now with the Seat Time car, with the Seat Time staying now, because we now have a couple of new vehicles in the fleet.
Yeah.
Since our first video.
Oh yeah.
And really since the middle of last year. It's when you got the other car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over a year. Yeah. Over a year.
So, but yeah. So that car sits now. It needs some maintenance done to it. It does. We do have the brakes are grabbing a little bit. It probably could use brake pads, calipers. Really needs calipers. It really needs a whole brake package. Calipers,
hoses, pads, rotors.
Yeah,
it needs the whole nine kind of. Which is not super expensive, but it's just more than we've been willing to put aside for it. Kind
exactly.
Of it's a back burner car, and some of you know why it's a back burner car. Some of you know why.
Yep. But that car, I mean, realistically, to get that car back going, because unfortunately. Rest in peace on that car. It got into the hands of your brother.
Yeah.
And it survived.
If you haven't seen the other videos, please go watch at least some of our private day videos and the most recent private day video that we've put out there. And you'll see what we...
Huh? Even a compound video.
Yeah, you'll see how Forrest treats vehicles.
I'll put it this way. Put it this way for y'all out there. That car went through 2 learner's days, probably 12-hour days, 6 hours of driving each. I mean, we beat the living crap out of that car.
On the limiter,
me and Corey do.
Multiple sets of tires, like...
It went through a private day.
Yep.
So it went through 3 full events with no issues whatsoever. Went through a full half of an event with just me and you driving the car. Then Forrest gets into the car, does 3 or 4 runs, and he full senses his car.
Oh no, he does 12 hot laps.
12 hot laps, exactly.
12 freaking hot laps, back to back. Because he's the only one out there, only one in line. So he's like, I'm gonna go again, and he does. And there's nothing wrong with that, except for the fact that the car is 23 years old and it has the original fan on it.
And to put it best, is that car never has, even all the crap we put it through, never got past halfway on the temp gauge.
Never.
Never. He pulls in after beating it for 12 hot laps in a row. Hey, does this thing run hot ever? No. Well, it is now.
He's like, oh, well, it is now. And then he's like, I'm going to go do a cool down lap and just drives around the parking lot and stuff. And
but basically, summing it all up, that car needs fans on switch now.
And a new fan.
A new fan is actually
because the fan's bad.
Busted.
Yeah, the motor's bad.
It really needs a 3-core radiator, a new radiator for cooling, and then a new battery. If fan and battery, that car will be ready to go as it is probably work.
Yep, for sure. So, it's event ready with a fan and a battery, and it's one of those upgrade along the way. So it would be nice to throw a bigger radiator in it because it had cooling problems. The fan had to work overtime. which, you know, putting it on a switch is still making it work overtime, but at least it's not hitting that initial hit draw. You can just let it sit there and run.
Exactly.
Kind of so, but anyways, that's kind of the update there on that car. Is just a little bit of maintenance and it'd be good to go. But for anybody interested in that build as to what's going on with it, right now, there's not really a foreseeable future as to when we are going to start working back on it again. You'll see why in a second. But for that car, we want to use it as a seat time car for people to learn on. So we are going to maintenance it. We're going to fix it and do stuff, little things here and there. But that way we can have like our parents, some other friends and whatnot, be able to like, hey, you know, I'm interested in the drifting idea and whatnot, but I don't have a car to go with. I was like, oh, take the keys to this.
Yeah.
Like, we have so little money into it. We have, like, we've had it for so long, it doesn't owe us anything. So, like, let's just, you know, spread the joy and let everybody else go play with it. Because it's, you know, it's one set of tires and a gas tank full of gas for a day.
Yeah.
For a whole day. You know, pay your entry, you know, pay for one set of tires and a tank of gas, and you'll be good for the whole day. You know? So,
exactly.
That's kind of where we're at on that car. But, the new car,
woo,
it's pretty cool.
It's
pretty cool.
Yeah, you know why I love that car.
Yeah.
So
they don't though.
They don't. So Corey, well, tell us the story how you found the car first, because that's the story itself. Because I'll put it this way: anytime I get a phone call from Corey, he's like, "Hey, I did something." I'm like, "What'd you buy now?" And that's exactly what happened here.
I have a problem. And that's the first step, is admitting you have a problem, people.
Yep.
And I do have a problem, but sometimes it works out in the end. So, you know, whatever. Is what it is. Not everybody hates the Grinch. But anyway, no, I found the car on Facebook Marketplace, just skimming, as I do, even with no money. I just like, you know, what we got here? Like, oh, dang, that's a good deal. Too bad I can't get it. But this one came up, and it was a good deal. It was local, literally 10 minutes from the house, and it was one of those situations where I couldn't pass it up. And I was like, I at least need to go look at it. Like, I have just enough money that I shouldn't be spending, but it's there, and it's a potential investment, or, you know, just a buy I shouldn't buy, but I did anyway. So, I found a 1994 SN95. It's got basically a mildly built small block in it. It's still, you know, the original 5-liter that came in it, but it just has a refreshed bottom end, so it's got like new crank and new main bearings in it, and a new oil pump and such, and like a pickup tube, and then it's been resealed. But it's got Edelbrock Performer heads on it. It's got chromoly push rods. It's got 1.7 rockers and the 1.9 valves in the heads. It's got a whole bunch of like goodies on it, with like a 3-core radiator and aluminum drive shaft, rebuilt transmission, rebuilt rear end, a heavy duty clutch in it, like all this stuff. But the guy, like, he started making it into a race car, which, I say quotations, we did the same thing with the seat time staying, just not as extreme.
No.
But this guy literally cut the dash in half. Like, you'll see right here.
Yeah.
So it's a bit much in that aspect, but it helped in the negotiation of getting it for the right price. And plus, you know, it has like new control arms and springs and lowering springs and struts and shocks and just all these little goodies that it's just like, it's a decent driving car.
Yeah.
And above all else, it's got an F303 cam in it, so she's got the chop, which is nice. But yeah, no, it was a super good buy, and I couldn't pass it up. And if you're curious, it was cheaper than my S197, more than the seat time staying, and it landed somewhere right in the middle at about $2,200. So
yeah,
I just couldn't pass it up. I couldn't. So here we are with that, and we're at the point where I was thinking at first, like, oh, it's cheap enough, I could flip it, make a little money on the side, put more money into the S197, and keep going on for next season. But I kind of looked at it and drove it and was like, dang, this could actually be a decent off-season platform, or like, you know, I say off-season, but like, while my car is down and I'm working on it and building it to the way I want it to be, I could just take my time and tear the car down and do stuff with that, and then drive this car at events. And then I started thinking more of it, and I'm like, well, I don't really want to put my car down for that long, because one, I want to drive it, I want to keep getting more and more comfortable in that car, and I've been enjoying the process of you know, like, put one part in, go drive an event. Put
Yeah.
another part in or 2 parts in, go drive an event. Feel the difference and learn the difference of the cars step by step rather than just, bam, pro car. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll go back into the flipping it. And then I'm like, well, maybe we could just, I guess, have somebody else drive it. I'm like, it's too good to get rid of. And I don't, the amount of money I could get out of it, yes, would be more than what I have in it. And I can make good profit off of it, but it wouldn't be enough for me to be like, I can't build it again for that.
Right, no.
So I was like, screw it. I'm going to give it to Holden. That's going to be the route I want to go with it. I want him to drive it. And he has histories with SN95s like I do.
Yep.
And so I feel like it's the perfect match. And so I started gathering little parts here and there. And today, the day we're shooting this video, he finally got to see it.
Yeah.
And I let him know if he wants it, you can have it.
Yeah.
It's all yours. You want to build it, let this be your drift car.
Yeah. I was shocked when you said that too, because my ties to it, I know you had a tie when you were in high school, you had one, right? Mm-hmm. We had 331 stroker or something like that.
331 stroker, it was a 1995, it was had the chop in it. Yep. So I was like, hey, it sounds just like my old car.
And when I graduated high school, I think I was like 19, and I got rid of my high school car, and it was able to pick up a 94 that was just freshly restored. The story on that one I had was the guy was going to be building it as a track car. He had it fully disassembled to the bare frame, everything like that. He's going to cage it. He ended up finding it was an 05 shell that somehow got burnt, and luckily he was able to restore it and made that a track car. So he had a good deal. And then he put this one back pretty much to stock with a few mild mods to it. And I found that car on Craigslist one day for I think like $5,000, and I had that car for like 2 years. That was one car I regret getting rid of because of how much time I put into that car and how clean it was. It was so nice. But when I saw this one, he told me about it. I'm like, oh man, I think it's sweet. And then when I saw it today, started it up, got on it a little bit. It's a proper car. Mm-hmm. It's got some work. You got to clean up some things. I mean, it's a
little rough around the edge.
It's a wiring nightmare. It's got a bird nest for wires all over the place, which you can see in the videos we're putting in this. And I'm moving this engine block.
The faux engine block.
Faux engine block. But it's got the bones are really good on it, and it's kind of like when you buy your S197. Kind of how that's sitting.
There's major potential.
Major potential.
There's so much potential. It doesn't make sense to get rid of.
No, and that's a car too. The Sea Time car we can make, a Sea Time Snake we can make, but we'd have to put a lot of money to get to, I'll say, the stage that the 05 is.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
as far as tandeming and being a proper comp car.
Yeah, well, the Seat Time Stang was never. When we got that car, it wasn't we're going to go run comp in it.
Right, exactly.
It was we're going to learn on it.
Exactly.
And that has served its purpose.
100%.
We have learned on it, and I would like to share that with other people and continue doing stuff to it.
Yep.
I would still like to put an angle kit on it. I'd like to put coilovers and stuff on it and do stuff like that. But if we both, as drivers, want to progress and perform at a higher level, we have to have cars that can also do so.
Exactly.
So it doesn't make sense to dump thousands of dollars into the Seat Time Stang to get it out of its position of what it was used for and what we intended to have it for, just to, not have that vehicle anymore for anybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
So now we have another vehicle that can go up and move up for competition use and allow Holden to progress more into that realm.
Exactly, because that car now has the power to keep up with his 05. And because the ultimate plans for his car this year. For now, yes, for now. Because you got some plans, but we'll talk about it in a second here. But for now, it makes close to the same power as his car does right now. But the future plans for his car is going to be, by the end of 2024, is to have FDF angle kit, BCs, or some kind of coilover system on it. Either, depending on how, because I know it has a built ring in it now. Depending on how that does when we first test it, I eventually will probably end up welding the diff regardless, but we'll get the welded diff in it. We already have a few things set for it now. We got the hub for the quick release steering wheel, so we can rotate that between cars. We have spare coils. There's a bunch of, over here there's a bunch of spare parts for the car. We have extra heads back here in the corner, full upper and lower Edelbrock intake with the lower plenum and upper. There's tons of other things we have for the car already, just to get it going, and then again get that with angle kit, again weld the diff, and then BCs, and possibly hydro by the end of the year. That car will be a great secondary car for either him when I'm not able to drive, or when we want to do comps together. Because now that we kind of both reached where we were,
just go to events in tandem.
Exactly. Have two tandem cars that we can each again, on a similar level of a car.
And they're the same color. So
And
like,
it's actually color. That was so
accidental
cool.
team color.
Yep.
So like, it is what it is. It was meant to be. It was
Yeah.
meant to be.
But no, that car was awesome. That's crazy you found the deal on it. You find those diamonds in the rough, man. Like the way you got your S197 was crazy.
Yeah.
The way we found the C-Time Stang was crazy. And the way you found out a new S95 is crazy.
Again, it's a problem, but not a problem.
I'll take it. Yeah, exactly.
It's a problem,
So.
and the first step is admitting you have a problem, and
Yeah.
that I do have a problem, but it works out sometimes. So
Yeah, but no, that's gonna be cool because we got kind of, I'll say we grew faster than we both thought we would as far as our driving performance. Because we were watching videos earlier today and watching it first time at the private day with the C-Time Stang, and just the progression we did in that one video and seeing where we are now and able to, I would say, find the full potential of the C-Time Stang. And then going to your car, driving that, it's literal cheat codes.
Yeah,
but that FDF kit is cheat codes.
well, and I really do like to hound on it for people that are looking to get into the sport, is that you don't have to have the cheat codes. If you can just get out there in a fairly stock car, like yes, I like having a welded diff. I like the feel of consistency. I like and like having some mild suspension upgrades, like the control arms on the C-Time Stang, just to keep it consistent and a good feel, having a good seat and a steering wheel to hold on to and keep you planted. But like other than that, stock angle, stock power, and all that stuff, if you can learn to control that car and put it into drift and keep it in drift without spinning or understeering or anything, when you get a vehicle that has more angle, that has better handling, more grip, you'll know how to react to its limits. So, but your limits are now tenfold. Like, it's insane, you know? So when you get behind the wheel of the S197 compared to the C-Time Stang, you're like, whoa, this is, I can go way harder with this car and never hit the limit, you know, and never hit the top. So it's you can start anywhere, and I would literally start as basic as you can. One, for cost reasons, but two, it's going to make you a better driver to start with something simple and just low budget oriented.
Yeah,
stuff like
I think
that.
you do a disservice to yourself if you go out there trying. If you go buy a full prep drift car
and not know what to do with it.
Yeah, you can't even get close to what it can do. Whereas you take it step by step, which now we potentially will have a good step by step.
Well, and it makes you more familiar with the car.
Exactly.
So like even the S197, you know, when I got the car, it was completely stock, and I started it that way. I didn't just throw everything on it and then go and rip the car and hope for the best. Like, you know,
that thing had a wonky, luminous look in it.
It was bad.
Will hop for days.
Yeah.
No angle. Stock seats.
Yeah.
I think the only thing you did in a car, like the first compound video, that was the first video we did where you drove the car.
Yep.
Everything was stock.
Yeah.
Except for rear seats were delete and
had a Catless X pipe.
Catless X pipe. That was it.
Yeah, that was it. It was literally all I did. I found a Catless X pipe for super cheap, and I was like, screw it, I want to throw it on, and did. And then other than that, like LSD stock, limited slips, stock suspension, stock steering, stock seat with a chunk missing out of it, like terrible, absolutely. I was a little like kind of bummed after driving it, like wow, it's got power, but that's all it's got.
Yeah.
You know? And I even reflected back in that video of like, you know, driving the C-Time Stang and be like, it's so much more consistent and you're planted in the seat and like all this stuff. And I'm like, it's none of that right now. It's bad. Like, it's terrible. But you can do that little by little and get to know the car and its little quirks and what the chassis does when it's trash. So that when you modify it, you make it better, you stiffen the chassis, you make the suspension feel better, you can actually feel more connected to the car as to what it's doing and how it's responding. You know.
But no, if you want to see that video that we're talking about, I'll put a link up here for it. It'll be right at the top or in the description below.
But yeah, that being said, I mean, you know, why do I have the S197 in the first place?
Yeah, let's get into that right now. Let's get into it. We talked a little bit about it. Let's get into it.
Yeah, because like it's not the greatest platform by any means for drifting and whatnot. I mean, it's a solid axle, so there's only so much grip you can really put in it, and really you know, there were solid axles in the beginning of drifting with, I believe Vaughn's car had a solid axle in it still on that car. Don't quote me on it. But I like it, one, for tire wear. But two, it's just consistent in the rear end. It doesn't come out of alignment. It doesn't do weird things unless you wreck the car. But But no, I got that car because when I was growing up, my godfather had one. He had one brand new. It was a 2005 model, bought in late 2004, and I was like 8 years old at the time. And we went, it was me, my brother, and my godfather, and my dad. And my dad was driving, went for a rip around the block real quick. And, you know, it was a GT, black convertible, red interior, 5-speed car, and a ripper. Brand new car, too. So, like, we come around this, like, little, like, 45-degree turn, turn around kind of thing, basically. And Dad gets into it, and the car whips out, and I'm 8 years old in the back, like, this is great. And instantly, right then and there, dream car. Like, I've got to have one of these one day. And I was always gawking over the Gone in 60 Seconds and Eleanor, like, Mustang. Like, I've never been tied to a certain brand by any means. I'm 27, I've had 60 vehicles, and I don't have any specific brand that I'm about. It just happens to be that I'm in the Mustang world. It just happened to be. I have no direct attachment other than some childhood memories, and like, it's a good platform. It really is. So the whole reason I purchased it is because I have some sentimental to it, but I know the chassis fairly decently, and there's a lot out there on them. And, it's started basic, completely stock, and we've just been little by little. And, at this point now, the car, with all of its mods that's been done to it and everything it's got right now, I mean, first things were BMR rear control arms to get rid of the wheel hop, and do the axle bushing so that it tightens up the rear end, and weld the diff. And
basically, seat time staying 2.0.
Yeah. Like, did that, and I was like, I gotta have a seat and steering wheel. Gotta have those things. So, seat, harness bar, harness, and a steering wheel went in, and boom, went out to its first private day like a week after the compound video.
Yep.
It was like a week after.
So,
went, did all that to him. Was like, all right, to the private day, and ripped the car. Felt good, felt way better than it did at the compound, and then obviously the skid pad is much better than the compound. There's not holes everywhere and places to go off besides a wall
or
and
5 feet of water.
I mean, technically, we've found places to go off, but they're typically easier to get back on unless you go too deep. But it was a good starting platform, and it reinvigorated my passion to keep building the car, because I was like, yo, the stock angle and that was already fun. It's already ripping, just that little bit, and it was just cool to be able to sling it in second gear, do a long sweeper, and be like, yo, this is so cool. And so, after that, it progressed to, all right, well, next thing I want to do is I want to get the car a little bit lower, tighten up the chassis a little bit, so I put BC coilovers on it, and went out for another track day. And it did absolutely great. It felt a little weird, because it was much tighter, it was much stiffer, and I also had the car kind of low, so it wasn't, not slammed. Don't comment saying, oh, it's not low. It wasn't low. It just was a lot lower than stock, and it was low enough to create some bounce to it and not have a bunch of travel. And but I figured that out and readjusted that. But no, so it was cool to feel that out, have a little bit of frustrations with it, and that was the first time the car gave me a problem, which was the intake manifold runner control. It's got valves in the intake itself that control airflow, and the actuator went bad and limited me to 3,500, 4,000 RPM for half an event, basically. And I noticed it on the private day, I would have weird power issues. It would kind of break up a little bit, and then I would sometimes I'd have some power, and then sometimes it would just completely go away and kind of stunt me and limit me. And then on that event, it straight up limp mode, 4,000 RPM, 3,500 RPM, would not go above it. It just, you could floor it, and that's all it would do. And that actuator had failed, and the valves were just closed, basically, and wouldn't open up and allow airflow. And that was my fault, because the car didn't have AC. The condenser was all busted up, and the lines were all messed up, and the compressor itself was locked up, not the free spinning pulley, but the actual compressor itself was locked up. So I was like, the car's never getting AC. I wanted to run it as a comp car anyway. I'm ditching all of it. So when I was pulling all the AC lines out that were behind the intake, I snagged it on a harness, and that harness laid right on the actuator. And at one point when it was moving back and forth, it got stuck on the harness and stopped, and it broke the motor. So that's where that happened. Threw a new one of those in, and it was fine for the next event.
Yeah.
Which, after that, the next event was the FTF kit and the Learner's Day. So, And this is what I'm talking about. Like step by step, literally, like 1 or 2 pieces at a time, the car just got better and better, and I progressed as each part went on, and I got to learn a new limitation, a new limit.
Yeah.
So the FDF kit goes on the car. Well, I mean, technically it was BC's, and then I had another private day I went to, but regardless, the next mod was the FDF kit, and dude,
that's straight up cheat codes.
That was cheat codes. That was when it really clicked of like, wow, this really, like, I know it's not some crazy 1200 horsepower Supra or BMW or whatever you want it to be, and like it's, you know, crazy pro Formula drift car, but for the time that I was learning it and experiencing an angle kit for the very first time, in my eyes, that's what it felt like. Well, that's what it truly felt like.
To add to that too, I never drove your car with the BCs on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, first time I drove your car was the private day, I think, right? Was it a private day or a learner's day? I can't remember if that was the third learner's day we did, I think. I don't know. Either way, when you let me drive the car one time, I'm like, nervous as heck. I threw it in the first time, I'm like, oh, I'm screaming in the car. Like, this is awesome!
The private day, yep.
That, I'm not kidding. Going from the seat time staying to that car, the amount of, again, just how that limit gets raised dramatically, like 100 times over, it's insane. And then you have the power to back it up. Because you can find a limited seat time staying, but you don't necessarily have the power to back it up to use second gear all the time. That car's second gear is like first gear in the seat time staying.
It is.
Any track, second gear, and then some.
It's first gear in the seat time staying plus 15 miles an hour.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's just incredible how much and how you can actually correct it with adding more angle to it, or again, now you have another piece to it, but it's just insane.
Yeah, and you know, it was very eye-opening to be like, man, they get better, they get crazier, like, and that first experience too of having the FDF kit at that learner's day and learning it. That's the reason we went to a learner's day, because I wanted to test the kit, make sure I didn't mess anything up, make sure that the steering felt good before I committed to going into a private day and like tandeming with anybody. So I wanted to feel the car back out and like make sure I didn't mess anything up. And it was just super eye-opening to feel that out and see what all the changes were, and just be like, wow, this is just it felt like a pro car just with no grip. Yeah, because I was also still running like 30 psi and a 245 and a 265 tire that was a 460 treadwear. Like it's not an aggressive tire, and but it was cool to just feel that difference. And then come the come the ride along Arama, doing the ride along Arama out at OSW, and I had the hydro in the car. I finally got a hydro e-brake, and I'll be honest, that was the first real time I was like kind of nervous, because it wasn't just like, oh, I'm learning the car again, like, you know, putting BCs on it, putting an angle kit on it, and be like, oh, I got to learn the limitations again, or the feel of the car. It was, I have to learn a new skill. Yeah. Like me, I have to learn a new skill, not just like learn the car again. I have to legitimately learn something completely new, because in the past I've never done e-brake initiation. I've never had a car with a good enough working e-brake to enter with one. So I just always clutch kicked, you know, and that's just how I learned. Yeah. And it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. It wasn't as hard, but it was definitely a learning curve to figure out how long I needed to hold it for, when to use it, and stuff like that. And I know for certain scenarios it's better to, you know, have your hand ready on it and be able to, like, you know, kind of chop through it if you're in tandem and stuff like that. But I still, with the car being low powered and not super high grip, I mean, you can see the tires behind us. I now have some 200 treadwear tires that I'm going to be running on the car instead of 460. And I, like at the last event that I ran this year, a Cars and Coffee event that they did drifting at, I mean, I was 15 psi cold. I was airing them down on a 275, still 460 treadwear. Yeah. But feeling that grip and whatnot, but having the hydro to learn how to set the car up and go was a super cool experience, but not overuse it to where it slows my run down. Yeah. So like I literally use it on entry, and at the ride along Arama, the way that the setup was, you know, you've got basically an outer zone on the wall and then the cones, you have another outer zone, and then you have like a switchback touch and go on the back side of the track, and then it just like flares off at the end. And on that flare off, to help like set and move out on like set the direction I want to go with it, I would I just tap the hydro again there,
Right. Yeah.
kind of thing to reset the car
Yeah.
on the way out after the transition. But other than that, I was full throttle or just light off, like off throttle, on throttle kind of thing. You know,
Exactly.
no brake used in there to keep my speed up. But no, it was a cool thing to learn and figure out, and it's just a wild feeling because the car is just getting crazier and crazier. And the next step, you know, that car you can see in the videos, especially in the Ride Along Arama video, because it's in-car footage.
Yeah.
How long I have to wait for it to go into second gear.
Yep.
And that's about to change dramatically.
Yeah. So let's get into that a little bit. What do you have coming for the C-Type Stang coming up for 2024?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, we'll cut that out.
You got it. Nah, that's staying in there.
That's staying in there now. So yeah, no. What do you have coming up for the S197?
Yeah.
Like,
So
you told me a few things. I think you got some more stuff that I'm not aware of.
potentially, yeah.
Yeah, I think
There's some stuff out there.
Think so.
But yeah, no, I just to lead off of that, I ordered a ACT 6-puck for it, so I'm going to be running a much more aggressive clutch for it. And then on top of that, I have a fully rebuilt, basically new, just minus the case transmission coming in.
Right.
So 26 spline input shaft upgrade, carbon sleeve synchros, like new brass for the selector forks and stuff like that, like all new. Like to the point where I have to put braking miles on it. But it's rated technically for 700 wheel through the transmission. So it's going to be overkill for what the car is making right now and what it's going to be making in the near future. It won't be making anywhere near that much, but I'm hoping the excessive build of it will allow it to live a little longer for on and off hydros, clutch kicking, and putting some drift abuse on it, you know? So that's a big, that was the biggest expense too that came in, or that's coming in, and it'll be halfway through this month, so I'm trying to get it ready for January 7th for an event, so I'm trying to get it all together, but halfway through this month it'll be here. So that's the first big thing that's going on with the car, and then I got a lot of little things that are going on with it. So the car needs maintenance, which is part of that transmission aspect, is that grinding second gear. I'm not rebuilding that transmission. I'm just going to put another one in it that's overkill. And that's how I take care of my maintenance, is by overkilling it. Because I also need to do a timing chain setup, because...
Jesus.
Pretty loud.
That's loud.
I also need to do a timing chain set on it, because I'm starting to get timing chain noise, and while I'm in there, I mean, it's the whole front cover of the motor has to come off, and valve covers, and like all that stuff's got to come off and come out. So while I'm in there, I'm going to do chains, guides, tensioners, cam phasers, crank sprocket, all that stuff. But naturally, me being me, I can't just leave it stock. So I'm doing the timing set stock, but she's getting some hot rod performance cams on it. So I want to get that a little bit of chop to it. I should, with tune and everything going on with it, I should be sitting somewhere, probably a 15 to 30 horsepower gain after that.
Right.
Because right now, it has already got a tuner on it. It's got a Bama tuner on it now. It's got a advanced fuel dynamics flex fuel system on it now. So I can run E85. I can flex fuel. I can do whatever in between. So with those combinations and a good tune, with that good D-Torx 400 pump and the 47-pound injectors kind of all together,
Rowdy.
I know, it should make, I would imagine, over what it was, somewhere in the 50 to 70 horsepower range of gain from where it was.
Oh, yeah.
From when I got the car and all that.
Yeah.
So all this stuff combined together, I'm hoping somewhere, I don't know, it's not getting dyno tuned. I probably should have it done, but like, it drives good enough. It does what I need it to do, and it's in a safe tune aspect.
Yeah.
So like I'm not super worried about it. But yeah. That being said, you know, timing set, cams, and then I've got brand new valve covers to go on it, because the ones that are on there, if you own a 3 valve or if you've worked on them, you know that the little coil pack hole or the stay bolts, where they thread into on the valve covers, it's always broken or deteriorating or corroded and it just falls apart. And every single one of mine are like that. So my coil pack's just sitting there right now. The bolts are there, but they aren't actually bolted into anything. So they're just sitting there. So new valve covers. Again, I have a problem while I'm there. It's getting brand new Brisk plugs in it. It's getting new MSD Street Fire coil packs while it's there. So it's getting all that stuff done. as maintenance, because I've been running the same coil packs for all year and they're stock, and I don't have any extras for them at the moment.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't want a coil pack to take me out in a competition. It's so stupid to have one coil pack take me out. So I want brand new ones, full new set in there, and then my ones that are still working, I'll just take them as extras, and I haven't done plugs since the very first time I did them when I got the car. So, and it's been beat on. It's run rough. So, like, technically the plugs should last a couple years because it's stock format, but now I'm running E and all that stuff. So I got some upgraded plugs for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, so that's kind of the future things coming in. Oh, and that IMRC delete,
yes,
that intake manifold runner control for the valves in the intake that I was talking about, how it messed up in the beginning of the year, and that was technically my fault, and it shouldn't have failed without my influence on it.
Yeah.
But if it's a system that can fail, I don't want it there, so it's getting deleted, and I have delete plates for it, so that'll be happening.
Nice.
They are. They're nice billet. They look
so
really,
nice.
really good. They were a lot cheaper than I thought they would be for billet too. So it's like it wasn't. I mean, they were still pricey, but it wasn't too bad. And then I got BMR polyurethane mounts for the car because for the motor mounts. So I haven't done motor mounts since I've gotten the car. So I figured it's been a year of abuse on stock mounts that I haven't even really cared to pay attention to. So it's getting new ones of those. Okay. And then, I mean, in reality, I guess the last thing to touch on is at the last couple events and watching the car and footage and how it reacts on body roll and transitions and stuff like that. And just the overall feel, I've noticed it's got a lot of dive, and I don't hate that it has a lot of dive. It's just the dive and roll that it has at the same time puts a lot on that outside front tire, and I want to kind of reduce that and let it spread across the front a little bit more. So I did order a 38mm BMR front sway bar, and with the FDF kit, it has so much angle that it puts stock links or the sway bar links that come with the BC coilovers at a bind, so you can't actually go full 70 degrees with the car. It limits it at like 50, 55. So I did some research, and I got some 1998 Crown Victoria sway bar links, and I'm hoping they work. I'm going to try them because it links it to the lower control arm rather than the strut. So it's no longer on a steering component, it's only on the lower control arm. So I'm hoping that works out, and there will be a video you guys will know as to whether it works or not. So on top of that, to kind of the competition that I'm going to be running in, we're limited to a 235 40/18. So I got a 200 shred wear tire. I got something that's a bit more grippy than what I'm usually running. But on top of that, I was like, well, to try to get a little bit more grip out of the rear, I went ahead and ordered an anti-squat kit. So it basically just takes your lower control arms and lowers them further away from the axle, because when you lower the car, it changes your angle of attack. And if you don't change the leverage point for the rear axle, it actually reduces grip. It creates squat and reduces grip. So if you can lower the control arm, what happens is whenever the car goes to squat, the rotation of the tires actually picks the axle and pushes up on it against the suspension, and then the squatting weight of the car forces it back to the ground, and it translates it through the tires. So your tires get way more grip.
Perfect.
So that's the thought behind that, is to reduce my dive with the sway bar, help with the body roll in general. I know a higher spring rate in the front will help with that too, but I figured if I can get a bar up there, I really want to see how that changes the feel of it. And then adding the anti-squat kit just to try to compete with some higher horsepower cars, because we are limited to a 235, but if they can smoke them through, fourth gear, I need something to help me with some sort of traction, because I can probably do these through second, but it's a lengthy track in the sense of transition points. So I got it.
Is that the firm?
It is going to be at the firm. Yeah, it's going to be with Beast Coast Drift. Is they're the ones that are hosting it. It's a grassroots event and whatnot, but I got a feeling there's going to be some people out there that are a little bit more than grassroots, but they may have started in grassroots, but some of them are pro-am, so we'll see. But that's that.
That's gonna be nuts.
Yeah.
So you're actually planning on competing this year in that car?
Yeah, I'm committed enough. I have enough parts that are coming in to make the car reliable enough that I'm going to try and be competitive, not just go to an event, but be competitive in an event and be good enough that I can hopefully get some partnerships on board. Because There's already talks in the works of getting an oil company on board. I'm trying to find a tire company. This is all self-sponsored. There is no gimmies here. It's just Black Friday deals. That's the most gimme I got, So everything that's coming in the car, not everything, but most things on the car that are coming in or that have come in were Black Friday deals that I was like, I need these parts. I need them for the next year. I've got to get the car together. Right. I want to go run these events. Yeah. So that's where they're at. So every little bit helps. Remember that Patreon in the beginning? Please help. Somebody send help. I'm broke.
Yeah, that's gonna be huge too. I mean, like I said, if y'all want to support us in the best way, obviously, first way is just obviously like the channel, subscribe to the channel, but
and share
it too. Because
if you like it, please share.
We are closing in on our first, I'll say, big milestone. Like
I think it's
big. We're at 90 subs right now as we film this video.
Yep.
We're almost at 100.
We're at 90 subs and almost 800 views on one of our videos.
Yeah, I think we got over 4,000 views total.
Yeah.
On our entire channel, so which is awesome. Like we did the start of this channel as just like people like to see it. Well, we're doing it for us.
Yeah.
But now it's got to the point where I think we've gotten higher and to where we are now faster as far as our driving performance. Where there might be something that people want to see now.
Yeah, maybe exactly, or even build progress that people want to see. People are enjoying and commenting and looking at the video for the FDF kit, for the install kit, and it's. If you watch it, it was filmed and edited as to what we enjoyed doing, so it's not It's titled as the FDF install kit or video or whatever, and there's C-type stank stuff in there. But it's by no long video.
It's by no means a step-by-step of installing FDF.
It's not. But if you guys want to have more step-by-step stuff, or if you want more, if you want more install-related videos, there's going to be a lot in the pipeline. Yeah. I do have a very small time frame that I have to be able to get all these parts in, but I'm going to do everything in my power to at least film and get an idea of what it takes to do these items. And I'm going to go a little overboard. I'm pulling the whole motor and trans out because I'm replacing the trans. I'm tearing down the motor halfway to, halfway down. So, I might as well just pull everything out kind of thing. And, pressure wash the engine bay. Maybe even paint it while I'm in there. Yeah. Just clean everything up, Get rid of stuff that's sitting there that it doesn't need. Yeah. Stuff like that. So,
I think in all seriousness, though, with you competing this year, what I saw, because I wasn't at the event you did for Cars and Coffee down there, but they had a big entry contest?
Yep.
You were going up against some high-class cars. There were scrubs at this event.
There was about 15 people that entered.
Yeah, and there weren't scrub cars. There were purpose-built drift cars at this event. And you got third?
I lost to a Pro-Am.
Realistically, you should have. I think you should have won. There's a lot of people there that said you should have won, but you lost to a Pro. It was that Corvette is sexy.
I understand why I lost.
Yeah,
I do. 100%. Well, why I came in third? I podium.
You podium.
I get it. It was a big entry contest. It wasn't a tandem contest or whatever. It was all based on entry, but it was just cool and a good feeling to be recognized and enough to be like, I'm out there and I'm like, I'm having fun. I'm like, I'm going to try my best, but I'm just enjoying what I'm doing. I'm literally having fun just doing it.
Yeah.
And then I'm heading back to the trail. I'm like, I did 3 laps and they said, that they wanted us to do just a couple and then they would let us know or whatever. So I did 3. I thought I did pretty good on them. I was like, all right, I'm going to go back to the trailer, cool off. It's kind of hot and whatnot. Yeah. I get back to the trailer. I get out of the car to check my tires and whatnot. Dude rolls up and goes, hey, they want you back at the line. They've got a couple of people that they're trying to decide between. You're one of them. Go back up there. I'm like, oh crap, okay. Crap, I gotta get back in the car. So, and there was a lot going on with family and stuff that was there. So I was like, guys, I gotta go. I didn't realize this was happening. And literally, 7 more runs of just back in line, go again, back in line, go again. And it was just wild, man. And it was a fun event. And it was cool that I pulled up and they went, all right, go out to the middle of the track. We're going to announce whoever won. We've got 2 other guys coming up with you. And I was just like, yo, I may win, I may not, but I don't care because I'm literally on the track getting out of my car with 2 other dudes, and they are they're Pro-Am drivers. Yeah. Or very experienced. They were A-class. Yeah. They were high-end A-class drivers. One of them is Andrew Grindle with the Corvette who competes in Pro-Am, who ended up winning. Very respectably. He's an amazing driver in that aspect. But yeah, no, it was cool to have that feeling and just be like, yo, this is, I got recognized.
It's cool
And it
to
was
be in
like-
conversation.
Yes,
Be in the
exactly.
conversation.
And being recognized, and being there, and I'm like sitting against the car, and the guy's like, "And who think Corey won?" And people cheering. I'm like, "Oh my god, people
People
cared!
cheer for you.
Holy crap!" I thought it was just the dudes that were watching and judging it, not the
Yeah.
actual people that were spectating. And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, people are cheering!" That's
And you're just
That's kinda cool.
You're a measly, according to OSW right now, you're a measly B-class driver, buddy.
I am.
I
am.
No,
I am.
Yeah. But I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
The fact that to have you in the conversation of being in that kind of company was really. I wasn't there for it. I wish I was.
It
but
changed my mindset.
I think it gave you a lot of confidence, and you can definitely see it in driving style as far as from when we did the first ever Learner's Day video with the seat time staying to now seeing that big massive entry you did. I saw it, and I was in Dallas training for my new position, and I saw this. I'm like, my jaw dropped. I'm like, that's not Corey. No. What?
Yeah.
I think that was epic.
Yeah, it was.
It was epic.
It was definitely a cool event, and
So
I'm excited to see where this keeps going and whatnot.
yeah,
And
for sure.
I mean, I gotta make ends meet, but I'm trying, man. I'm pushing, and that's the only reason we ask for any kind of support, even just subscribing to the channel and sharing and stuff like that. Is it helps at least at a minimum of people liking, subscribing, commenting, and giving us feedback. That gives me inspiration to work overtime or something, or like do extra and try to find another flip car and actually flip it, actually sell it.
Well, we did have 200 vehicles. You did turn around and sell.
I did. I
We had the black one and the blue one.
Yeah, and I had that blue Miata.
Yep.
And I sold that too, or parted it out and stuff like that. I do what I can, and at a minimum, the likes, subscribes, the views, comments of somebody taking something out of a video and commenting about it or whatever, and knowing that I was like, wow, they watched that part of the video. That's awesome.
Yep.
That inspires me to keep pushing and to self-sponsor in reality and until I can get partners. So.
Yeah, and the idea behind the Patreon account is not a money grab by any means. It's more because, fortunately, we are 2 hours apart. He's here, and I'm 2 hours away where I live. So it's sometimes we have videos and stuff we want to put up. The way we have to do the editing and stuff like that, and sometimes we don't get videos out quickly, which we're going to try to change here soon, but it's going to allow y'all to see content before it drops.
Or even content that you won't see anywhere else.
Exactly.
That's going to be the big thing with Patreon is if you guys do want to see the behind the scenes of all the stuff that's getting done to the S197, there will be video of it, yes, on YouTube, but there are going to be stuff that I post on Patreon that you won't see anywhere else of, when the motor and trans are coming out. You might be a month ahead of other people, but also see little snippets of what's going on that doesn't make it in the video, whether it's raw footage or, a mistake that I make or whatever it may be. It might be a little bit more obvious in the Patreon and have a little bit more exclusivity in Patreon.
Yep.
So, and it's just simply to help push this forward, not improve lifestyle by any means. I'm like, we can pay our bills, we can do all that, take care of the family, but our hobbies have to fall to the wayside until we have extra money. And if that extra money comes in from help from others, it's going to go right back into what we want to do and create content for everybody.
Exactly.
So, long-winded, but that's just that's truly how we feel about it. It's
100%.
That's the only reason it's being put out there and why we're going to do it.
Exactly.
Because in reality, for the 2 years we've had the channel live and a video up, it's been just us wanting to make videos as documentation for us as drivers and us as people. Because if you look back at videos and you see the house and there's no fence and the different cars and not having a house, being at a rental and all that stuff, you can see that progression, and that's why we started doing the videos. And we want to keep doing that for ourselves, but we also want to bring fun and entertaining content for other people, or informative content in the sense of builds or how to drift or where to drift and places to go and stuff like that.
Exactly. Cool.
I'll just let you run it because I've done a lot of talking.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
No,
I didn't mean to take that,
No.
but I just...
No, you're good. You're good.
I'd be terrible at a podcast. I wouldn't let them talk. Go on 16 tangents on accident.
So, but no, I know it's been long-winded, but we want to try to do some of these videos, these recap videos, every year, essentially, but maybe mid-year, who knows. But no, it's been awesome. Again, we do this because we like doing this. There's no... I love the editing part. I love the filming. I love to also get behind the wheel and driving. I want to improve my driving as well. We both made big leaps and bounds this year by going from people who have never, I say in the last 2 years really, even this year, who have never, I never did anything on this besides like going out of a driveway and getting inside it a little bit. That's the only experience I had to drifting before I got into, we started doing this channel. And going from never doing that to linking and then driving his car and both of us becoming B class. And my honest opinion, I think if we both tested out in your car, you're an A class, I think, all day long. I think I'm a top B, maybe I could sneak into A. Maybe.
I think you can sneak into A.
So yeah.
You just have to have the car for it.
Yep. So
you have the knowledge.
Yeah.
Just, you have to have the higher limitation of A class.
But to have that progression and to have y'all on for this journey, like we're closing on 100 subscribers. So whoever has subscribed now and has been following us for the last 3 years, almost 3 years.
I've been watching this hour-long
video.
video.
Hour-long video that we always say, it's going to be 20 minutes long. No, it's an hour. We do it because we like to do it. We can talk about this stuff for hours. Yeah. And but thank you all again who's already subscribed to our channel. We really appreciate it. You have no idea how much it means to us to see what we're at right now. Having 90 subscribers, having videos that are closing on 1,000 views is so freaking cool. We never thought it would happen. We literally did it because we like doing it. Yeah.
We thought we would be the ones watching it.
That's it. We'll have 100 views in 90 hours.
But
again, in all seriousness, guys, and gals, we do this just because we like it. And if y'all like it too, let us know. If y'all like what we're doing and y'all go back and watch some of our older videos, let us know some feedback. Let us know what we can do different. Let us know what you liked, what you didn't like, and what you want to see in the future. So again, like I said, I'm not trying to beat it with a dead horse, but like the channel, comment below, subscribe to the channel because it means so much to us. You have no idea.
It's really cool to be at work and get notifications. We have new subscribers.
Yeah, or get a text from him saying, "Hey, buddy, we had 90." I'm like, yes.
I literally last week 87, 89, 90.
Like, yeah, dude. Like, I don't know where they're coming from, but it's great, you know.
Yep.
But I'll say to end off, let's cheers to 2023. It's been a great year.
It's gonna be an awesome 2024.
It's gonna be amazing. So I'm so excited and have y'all along for the journey with us. But with that, thank y'all again. Thanks for watching. See you later on.
Happy fun times.